If you believe that gentleman's assertion around the fact that a lot of data is available about me because I've posted my real name in Facebook, I've posted my real name in Google, we know a lot about the user. Now, what do you do if you're in marketing? If you're sitting down trying to decide a brand campaign, what do you do then? Your campaign is going to look something like this, right? Instead of having one ad where you're going to spend tens of millions of dollars and have a celebrity endorse it and show it to 10 million people because that's the old model, you're going to try and figure out, how do I take these 10 million people watching this piece of programming at different points in time, in different conditions, and how do I customize the message to them? So whilst we have one global internet, we're going to one big global audience, we're going to go to an audience of one. That audience of one is an audience where I could tell you exactly how to target them, I could tell you who they are, I could tell you a lot of things about them. Right? How are you, as a creative force, going to change those 10 million pieces of creative for those 10 million people? I don't know the answer. But I think what's going to happen is we're going to go to a very different model. My expectation or my prediction, is a dangerous thing to predict things because usually you're wrong. So at the risk of that, my prediction is that you guys are going to start creating different creatives for different circumstances, different environments for the same campaign. I think that's a huge challenge from a creative perspective. It changes the shape of the creative agency. Now, what makes Facebook special? What makes Google Plus interesting? The moment you have too much information, you go back to your old notion of community. You have to go back to a notion of, instead of trying to find out what the entire crowd thinks, let me find out what those 5 people I trust think or those 10 people I trust think. Which is what we do. This is how we conduct life. The internet is a representation of life. So what happens is, in the social networking world, what we started to do is we started to go back and rely on those 10 friends or 20 friends and 50 friends. I don't want the recommendation of an editor. I don't want the recommendation of 1,000 people. I want to know where my 20 friends are eating. I'd much rather trust their judgment versus trust the judgment of 5 exabytes of information being created every 2 hours. So what we're seeing is we're seeing us go from an era of information or a web of information to a web of people. I think all industry models, all business models are going to change. The power is truly going to be that of the user. It is going to be in the hands of the user. That is the new trend. It is a web of people. If you remember, there's a time when you all signed up for your first email account. I actually don't remember signing up with my real name for my first email account because it was not important. It was just seemed to be a way to get some messages back and forth. Today, people would pay money to get their name at Gmail or Yahoo or Hotmail or whichever email addresses because it's hard to find your own name. And I'd much rather have my own name. So we're going from a world of anonymity on the web to a world we actually want to represent ourselves on the web. And that is the trend. That is why people want to be on Facebook. That is why people want to be on Google Pluses themselves, because I don't want to be, Dolly Raja 20195 at gmail.com. I want to be my name. So you're seeing this big trend from information to people wanting to represent themselves, from a web of information to a web of people, and that's where the next trend is going to be born. Now, if you think of what that means, right, coupled with the development in technology, coupled with the notion of social activism, coupled with the notion of people wanting to be in control, if you think about how it's manifesting itself, look at what happened in the summer in the Middle East, the Arab Spring. If you look at what's happening in the US with Occupy Wall Street, it is these tools of social networking, it is this connection or web of people which is allowing people to get together in a very short notice, create flash mobs, create conversations around certain topics, and when the conversation finishes, they'll go away. Right? There is a new conversation going on. And one of our marketing guys happened to be and forever consumers have been balancing trust with convenience. Right? If you don't want anybody to know anything about you, don't tell them. But if nobody knows anything about you, it's highly unlikely you're going to get what you need. So we all strike that balance. When you take out your credit card and use it somewhere, there is a notion that you want to have some convenience. When you want to have that convenience, I'm going to find out who you are. It's most likely that your credit card company knows more about you than most other people around you. Because you've pretty much left digital footprints all over the world. Whenever you travel, wherever you go, they have all that information. You have to trust those people that they're not going to abuse that information or misuse that information for it to be there. So in this entire mess of what's going on in the world, what's going to happen, I think, it is going to fundamentally change the structure of industry. I saw very interestingly, we had this whole conversation around creative, we had this whole conversation around brands and how people are going to have conversations. If you think of the world of video, if you think of the last bastion of advertising, which is the world of television, right? Fundamentally, the only television that I want to watch or I need to watch at that time is live television. If there's a live sporting event happening or there's something happening right now, that's the only reason for me to watch it at that moment in time. There is no reason for me to get in front of my television at 9 p.m. and watch a particular show just because you decided that's the time you want to broadcast it. There's lots of recording technology, there's lots of ways that I can watch it afterwards. So I believe the next big hit is going to happen to the television world, where we're going to watch programming on demand. I'm going to watch it when I want to, and you're going to watch it when you're going to want to. Now, what is going to make that possible? What is going to make that possible is the ubiquity of broadband and the fact there'll be a screen around us somewhere. Whether it's a mobile phone, whether it's a tablet, whether it's your iPad, whether it's your PC, you're going to watch it when you want to watch it. If you believe that gentleman's assertion around the fact that a lot of data is available about me because I've posted my real name in Facebook, I've posted my real name in Google, we know a lot about the user. Now, what do you do if you're in marketing? If you're sitting down trying to decide a brand campaign, what do you do then? Your campaign is going to look something like this, right? Instead of having one ad where you're going to spend tens of millions of dollars and have a celebrity endorse it and show it to 10 million people because that's the old model, you're going to try and figure out, how do I take these 10 million people watching this piece of programming at different points in time, in different conditions, and how do I customize the message to them? Somebody asked me a question about, what do you think about mobile advertising? I heard somebody say on stage, we have digital advertising people. All those distinctions are going to go away. There's going to be no online, offline. There's going to be one line. Make up your mind, right?